Imagine waking up on a quiet island, where every sound could be your last.
Some comes from tragedy, remembered too well.
The sea calm, the bells of your monastery echoing through the fog. You think it's just another morning of prayer and peace.
But then, you hear it.
The thunder of oars! The clash of metal! The screams!
Lindisfarne, 793 AD. The day Europe realized the storm had arrived.
Lindisfarne wasn't just any island. It was Holy Island, a sacred place off the northeast coast of England. A pocket of peace in a brutal world. Monks here spent their days copying manuscripts, praying, and helping travelers. They lived simply, eating bread, fish, and whatever they could grow. To them, violence was a sin, not a way of life. But beyond the horizon, another world was stirring.
A world of longships, axes, and endless ambition.
The Norse, farmers, traders, explorers, were looking outward.
Their lands were harsh, their winters cruel. And their hunger, endless. When word reached them of a rich monastery by the sea, filled with silver, manuscripts, and undefended treasure. They didn't see holiness.
They saw opportunity.
It's early June, 793 AD. The North Sea is cold, restless. A handful of longships cut across the water, low, sleek, silent.
Built for speed, built for terror.
Each ship carries maybe 30 men.
No armor, no heavy gear. Just axes, spears, and courage carved from ice.
We don't know exactly who they were. Norwegians? Danes? But one thing's certain. They knew what they were doing. Lindisfarne wasn't random. It was rich, symbolic, and exposed.
A statement to the world. We have arrived.
And on that fateful day, the monks saw them coming.
At first, maybe they thought, traders? Pilgrims? Lost sailors?
But as the shapes grew larger, their hearts began to race. The sound of oars, thunder, rolling closer and closer. Then the glint of steel, catching the pale northern light. The truth became horrifyingly clear. They weren't here to pray.
The island's peace shattered like glass under storm.
The tide brought with it not pilgrims, but predators! The Vikings hit the shore like lightning. No hesitation! No mercy! They stormed the monastery, breaking doors and seizing treasure.
Torches flared, manuscripts scattered into fire and wind.
For the monks, it must have felt like the world ending.
They had never seen men like this. Faces painted, eyes cold. Every move, swift, calculated, deadly!
The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle recorded the horror in one line.
The harrowing inroads of heathen men made lamentable havoc in the Church of God in Holy Island, by rapine and slaughter.
The Vikings looted everything they could. Gold, relics, even captives.
To them, this wasn't sacrilege.
It was survival! They came like a storm, and vanished like one too.
Back to the sea, swallowed by mist and distance. The island fell silent again, but the silence felt broken. For the survivors, questions replaced prayers.
Why would God allow his holiest servants to be slaughtered?
Where had his protection gone? The age of certainty was over. And the age of fear had begun. Word spread like wildfire across the kingdoms of Europe.
Monks fled south with tales of burning churches and heathen men.
Whispers grew into panic. The North had unleashed something terrifying. The Archbishop of York called it a punishment from God.
Others said the devil himself guided the ships.
But some saw something else.
Beneath the fear, kings and warriors were taking notes.
If men could sail across the North Sea, strike, plunder, vanish.
Then they weren't mere barbarians. They were tacticians.
Lindisfarne wasn't just an attack. It was a message. Europe had walls.
But the sea had none. And the Vikings knew it.
The raid on Lindisfarne opened a door no one could close.
Across Europe, coastal towns trembled.
The age of raids had begun. And no coast would sleep easily again.
After Lindisfarne, the pattern repeated, again and again.
Monasteries, towns, ports, none were safe.
Every raid brought new wealth and new confidence.
Within decades, Viking sails were seen in Scotland, Ireland, even France.
They learned fast, adapting, evolving, thriving.
Some became settlers.
Some traders.
Others built kingdoms of their own.
But it all started here. One quiet morning, one holy island.
One act that cracked open the heart of Europe. And from that crack, an age of warriors was born.
Today, Lindisfarne is peaceful again.
Tourists walk the same ground where monks once bled. The tide still rises and falls, hiding and revealing the causeway. Just as it did over 1,000 years ago. But the ghosts of 793 still linger. Every crash of wave feels like an echo of oars. Every seabird cry, a memory of that day.
It's easy to romanticize the Vikings.
The ships, the sagas, the courage.
But Lindisfarne reminds us, behind every legend, there's a cost. Not all glory is born from greatness. This was more than a raid. It was a reckoning.
A moment when faith met fear and lost. But through that loss, Europe woke up.
Monks, kings, and warriors realized the world had changed.
The sea was no longer a boundary. It was a highway, and the Vikings ruled it.
The raid on Lindisfarne was just the beginning.
From that moment, history's tides shifted forever. Because sometimes, history only wakes up when it's shaken.
So next time you hear about Viking glory,
Remember where it began.
One island, one more morning.
and a raid that shook Europe to its core.
Centuries later, the echo still reaches us,
reminding us that peace is never permanent.
and history never really sleeps. Because sometimes the past isn't as distant as it seems.
If you felt that chill, hit subscribe.
And keep exploring the real stories that changed the world.